when you have a problem, they want you to communicate with the people that can help you and the people that are involved. In the long run, you as a pilot can only do what you can do.
Most pilots don't understand what career opportunities are available in the world of aviation. They're making career decisions based on advice from friends or posts on internet forums, meaning they are taking huge risks with their livelihood without having all the details. This podcast was created to help you understand the aviation industry so you can find your dream job. Let's get ready for Pushback. Here's your host and my dad, Nick Fialka.
Hey, pilot, welcome to another solo show. It's Nick Fialka, and I am here. I'm glad you're joining me today. Thank you so much. If you have not already, please take a second and write me a review on Apple Podcasts. That is super helpful. If you are joining on the YouTubes and you listen to this on the YouTubes, please like and subscribe. I think that's a thing. And I want to tell you that I am in the process of transitioning all my episodes over to YouTube so people can watch them. I'm also going to be adding video here pretty soon. So that's pretty cool. I've got a lot of episodes that are already some video stuff, but I'm in the process of upgrading all the things. I've bought lights, I've bought cameras, I've bought the things. I'm going to be, over this year, making it better, making it cooler, really investing in the show because it's just been such a wild hit. And I think that a lot of people seem to like the YouTube world. So today we are talking about some more aviation things that make you a pro. And we are talking about a thing called 2 out and 2 in. And if you are already an airline pilot, you probably know what 2 out and 2 in is. If you are not, if you're on your journey, you might be surprised at how cool this is. This is a way, we call it expanding your team. And I want to dive into it, but first I want to tell you a story of something that happened to me a couple months ago on a flight. I was headed out to Pittsburgh, and most of y'all know I fly a 757 and also the 767-300. So they're basically the same type rating. One's just holds a lot more people, and they fly relatively similarly. But so I'm flying a 757 to Pittsburgh, and I'm climbing out through 38,000 feet or so. And I'm the pilot flying, and I'm chatting with my FO, and he's the pilot monitoring because we have one person that's doing the flying, one person that's watching, running the radios, that kind of stuff. And we're climbing up, and I look at my airspeed indicator, and on the airspeed indicator is this barber pole, this striped line that is your max speed, right? You can't go past this max speed or else nothing good happens. Well, the little white airspeed indicator was way on top of that stripy barber pole. And I had a quick moment of panic because the system is supposed to basically keep it. You plug in how fast you want to fly and it manages it. It's got automatic throttles. It's got automatic, vertical speed control. And it just, without getting into it, it manages it and does a good job. And all of a sudden, everything was inverted on the airspeed indicator. And my heart jumped into my throat real quick. I was like, "Ugh!" And I put my hands on the controls, getting ready to disconnect the autopilot and make a pretty severe move when I looked over at my backup airspeed indicator and I looked at my first officer's airspeed indicator and they were just fine. And then I looked back at mine and there's an orange off flag on the top of it where it usually shows what the Mach is. It said AS with an orange flag and it was off. And I was like, oh, geez. So my airspeed indicator had failed. So what do you do? First thing you do is you stop your climb. We talked to the controller. Controller gave us, we said, hey, we need to stop our climb. We have to do a little troubleshooting. We'll get back to you. The guy says, all right, you're good where you are. And the first thing we did is we pulled out our quick reference handbook, which is a list of all the different problems that you could possibly have in the plane and how to deal with them. It's a checklist and it's step by step. You figure out what your failure is, you find the page, and it talks you through the things you need to do. And so I passed the controls over to the first officer, had him fly and talk, and I went through the checklist, looked at everything, and we both agreed that the airspeed indicator on my side had failed and that his side was still working. And so he was going to be the pilot flying. And then we had to figure out how safe are we? How safe are we not? And the speed was good. Speed was fine. We were not falling out of the sky and cats and dogs were not living together. And so we communicated with the controller, hey, we need to stay right here for a minute. We need to talk to our company. We've had an airspeed failure, but our backups look good. And he said, cool. The thing that happened after that is this is the 2 out, 2 in part, right? When you have a problem, they want you to communicate with the people that can help you and the people that are involved. And so your 2 out in our case was ATC. So we talked to the controller first with the initial conversation and then further on conversations down the line. And the second out is back to our company, to the dispatcher. And a dispatcher is a professional that is trained in managing flight plans and also has quick connections to maintenance and anybody else in the company that you might need to talk to. And we were fortunate enough that we were in the lower 48. And so we had a radio that we could tune up and call our dispatcher and talk to him voice to voice. And that voice to voice is a really, really good thing because if not, then you've got to basically text him on your ACARS, which is like an old school, really crappy fax machine / text machine where you just have to type in what you want to say letter by letter by letter. It takes forever. So we made a call and we talked to the dispatcher who got maintenance on the line. And so it's me and the dispatcher and maintenance. And we go through, we do a little bit of troubleshooting and we say, all right, this is definitely not working. We definitely can't get it to work. And one of the things that is required in this checklist is you have to exit RVSM airspace. RVSM airspace is those really high altitudes that airliners fly. And so we had to descend out of this. We asked the controller to get us down to a lower altitude, which he certainly did. And with that, we had to start thinking about other things. All right, well, we're lower. We're going to be burning more gas. We're also have this failure. Do we need to continue to Pittsburgh or do we need to turn back around and go back to where we came from? And the dispatcher and I talked and we decided to continue on to Pittsburgh and we would drop off the passengers and then wait on the ground for a new airspeed indicator, okay? Hey, pilot, I've got some big news. I'm super excited to announce the Spitfire Swag Shop, your ultimate destination for top-notch apparel that's perfect for aviators and aviation enthusiasts with discerning taste. Whether you're in the cockpit or dreaming in the skies, the Spitfire Swag Shop's got you covered with the coolest high-quality merch that screams aviation package. And to celebrate our grand opening, I've got an exclusive deal just for you, my loyal listeners. From now until June 27th at midnight, you can enjoy a fantastic 10% discount on everything in the store. Just use the code SQUAD10. That's SQUAD 10. At checkout for your favorite items, but hurry because it's only valid until midnight on June 27th. So don't wait. Head over to the Spitfire Swag Shop right now and elevate your aviation style. Go to SpitfireSwag.com. Don't miss this amazing deal. Happy shopping, Spitfire fam. So that's 2 out. We talked to the controller. He descends us down. We're all nice and chill there and doing good things and we're managing. And he gives it, we didn't declare an emergency, but he gave us priority handling all the way to Pittsburgh. And it was awesome. He was amazing. Each controller really helped us out. We made sure that we were very conservative on our approach speeds and all of that stuff. Now, let's talk about what the 2 in is, okay? The 2 in is talking to the flight attendants and it's talking to the passengers. And typically, this would be in a serious emergency. Sometimes things pop up that you can manage and don't really affect the flight attendants, nor do they affect the passengers. And you just kind of continue and things get fixed when you get on the ground. And this was one of them because there was no impending, we weren't going to divert. We certainly would need to talk to everybody behind us if that were to happen. But we were just continuing on, and it was something that is not pertinent to the passengers. And so we landed without much of an issue. Fast forward to getting to the gate and deplaning and getting all the passengers off, I had a talk with the flight attendants that, hey, while we were flying, we had this airspeed failure, and the plane is now down. And the company is trying to figure out how to get us an airspeed indicator to get this jet fixed. And so I talked to the company, and the company actually had an airspeed indicator en route when I called them. And they were going to fly it up to Pittsburgh on the next flight, and a maintenance person was going to install it. Well, it was going to take some serious time. It ended up taking like 4 hours. And so we talked to the flight attendants. They're cool. They get it. They sit down. And then the second part of the 2 in is talking to the passengers that are on the gate waiting for this flight down to Atlanta. They bought tickets. They're expecting to come down, and they're expecting an on-time flight. And that's what I want to give them. And I want to give them all the customer service that they get and they think they should get. That's so important to me, because I know that they have a lot of trust in the company, and they know they have a lot of trust in me and the flight attendants. And then I had to go to the gate and stand there in front of everybody and tell them that this aircraft had a part that needs to be replaced. I didn't go into it. I just said, hey, we have a maintenance issue. We have a part that needs to be replaced, and the replacement part is up here. And it's going to take some time. It's going to take some serious time. And I will update you every 15 minutes, whether I know anything or not. And let me tell you what, man, that is so hard. It is really, really difficult to make those announcements when you have nothing new to say. And when I made the first announcement, it was just groans, and it was rolling of eyes and people throwing their hands up and people getting frustrated. And I get it. And so the best thing I can do is sit there and be the screen and be the person that takes the brunt. And I apologize ahead of time. I let them know, hey, this is not the gate agent's fault. This is nobody's fault. It's just one of those things with mechanical machines. And it just is. And I understand where you're trying to go. And I understand how frustrating it is. And what I did is I poured out a bunch of empathy. And as I'm sitting there trying to communicate, they're rushing the desk. And I asked them, please give these gate agents a little bit of grace. If you are frustrated, you want to be frustrated at somebody, I'll be standing right here and you can come talk to me and we can chat about it. But please, please, please give the gate agent some grace. And that bought a lot. That bought a lot from those passengers. They were flexible with me. They were very gracious. And, some of them were just upset to be upset, and you can't change that. And I get it. But I tried to give that extra bit of customer service that I usually do and just poured it on and tried to make sure that I was chatting with them and friendly with them and just understood where they were coming from. And that was probably the best part, because over the next 4 hours, those people that stuck around, some people went home, most people stuck around, and they were able to see me as a person instead of just some faceless airline. And since they saw me as a person, and since they were human, they were able to get around the fact that it's okay. And the companies always do a good job of rebooking people and getting them where they need to be and making sure their bags are carried and all those things. And so it ended up working out. Everybody, I'm sure there were people that had things that didn't work out, and that's really difficult. But in the long run, you as a pilot can only do what you can do. And that's what I want you to know, is that when you have a situation that's emergent, whether it's an emergency or not, the 2 out, 2 in mentality, the way you do it is so helpful, because you are not the senior man with the secret. You are not the person that is trying to figure out if not you should declare an emergency or descend or put on your mask or whatever it is. Who knows what it is? But being able to communicate is a huge part of crew resource management. And it's another thing that I think is important. And it's something, if you are training in the airlines, if you're thinking about the regionals, or you are a Part 135 carrier that has a dispatcher or some person, I want you to think about that, because it's easy to forget about. It's easy to think that you are alone in this plane and that you've got to make all the big decisions. But if you talk to the controller, you talk to the person back at the base if you can, you keep the passengers informed, and you tell your flight attendants, then they will thank you for it, and they will feel like they are informed as well. If you have to divert, or you have an emergency where you have to make a quick turnaround, then getting that 2 out, 2 in keeps everybody on the same page. Maybe you need emergency vehicles. You're going to need to talk to the controllers. Maybe you need to evacuate the plane. You need to talk to those flight attendants. You need to get people in the loop, and give them the information that they need when they need it. And if you can do that, you're going to be a better pilot. You are going to be a better communicator. You're going to be a better first officer. You're going to be a better captain. You're going to be better whatever you are. So that's what I want to talk about today. 2 out, 2 in, crew resource management for the win. You guys are the best. I'll see you on the next show. This is important. Before you go, you need to know that 2024 is going to be unbelievably competitive in the world of pilot hiring, and you need to make sure that you separate yourself from the herd. The only way that you can guarantee that you'll land your dream job is by partnering with Spitfire Elite Interview Consulting. We are the only choice for application review and interview prep. We are the partners that you've been looking for from start to finish, and it's never too early to be part of our community. Just go over to my website, spitfireelite.com, and use the coupon code R4P to save yourself 10% on all of our services. Again, that's the letter R, the number 4, and the letter P to save 10%. So go out there and slay your interviews.